All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. It's Wednesday the 3rd. We're going to count down every day to election time because it's a lot going on in this country. And then they got the eclipse coming on the 8th, April 8th, right? So, there's a lot of bloggers blogging on what they think it means, or the conversations range from aliens coming to all type of things, but in reality, we need to determine what is the biggest threat to the country and to us as individual citizens. Now, when we talk about threats, we're talking about we're talking about what will be the most destructive force in our lifetime right now. They want to say it's Trump, but people really know that's not the case. Trump is not the one trying to re-identify your children. Trump is not the one saying your child can go to school and say they want to be another gender. And if you tell them, no, you're a boy, you're not a girl, they'll take your child and detain your child and take legal actions against you. Now, it's another thing I've been seeing in media, in social media, with the real true bloggers. They are starting to use the term demon when they refer to the Democratic Party. When you watch some of the bloggers like the Star Report, other people, they will say now demons because the level of Luciferian behavior and nefarious activity is ridiculous coming out the Democratic Party. I look at people I've known all my life that still say they're going to vote for Biden. And I'll be like, even though you have children and he's pushing bills and legislators and, and legislation, let me correct myself, that undermines nuclear families, undermines nature, even though he's the author of the 94 crime bill where he punished all them black men for possession and being addicted to crack, but his son smokes it and does every type of thing. They even found, remember they even found some yayo in the White House. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. That's just a few things like, I was saying because it was on my mind. But I'm going to show you a clip that mainstream media don't want you to see and it happened on CNN. So they tried to cut it, but they couldn't because it's the age of internet. So on CNN, they're asking Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who do he think is the biggest threat in this country to democracy? Oh, y'all didn't hear me. CNN asked Robert F. Kennedy, who does he think is the biggest threat to democracy? Because that's what they've been screaming. Y'all will be surprised at what Robert Kennedy says. So let me show you. And then I'm going to show you something else with Whoopi Goldberg and Judge Janine. See, it's another thing going on. It's a lot of conservatives y'all letting the Democrats bully y'all. They talking crazy and reckless to you because you so scared that they're gonna call you a racist. You know what I mean? That's their tool. That's their weapon. Race baiting is their weapon. So they can talk all type of crazy madness if you say we don't want Biden, but then people stand down because of the language they used about January the 6th. Oh, they had an insurrection and y'all is going off the rails as conservatives. That's a tactic. That's a bully tactic for sure, to silence you because you don't want to be accused of being a racist. It's the same thing they use to black people. If you conservative, they try to call you a Tom, a bootleg, you know what I mean? They discount the fact that we would rather have a businessman in office than somebody's senile granddaddy. I mean, come on, let's make it make sense. You know, what black person with a good working mind of how the world and nature works would allow another 4 years of Biden's puppet administration? In another 4 years, they would be done took all your holidays and made them into something other than what we were raised to believe they were. Like with Easter and how all of a sudden it became Trans Visibility Day. What does that even mean? What does trans visibility mean? That means if you're in the closet, everybody come out. I just want to know. I'm asking for a friend. You know, when they gonna have a man's village, all men and grandfathers visibility day? You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? It's just another psych op. But I want you to hear what Robert F. Kennedy says when CNN asks him this question. This for fair use under 1976 Copyright Act. Check this out.
We'll talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses. Do you really think that is it equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy. And the reason for that is President Biden is the first.
He said that Biden is a worse threat to democracy. But he's finna tell you why.
Candidate in history, the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech, so to censor his opponent. I can say that because I just won a case in the Federal Court of Appeals and now before the Supreme Court.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and today I have a fun CNN.
I'm gonna stop right here. Now, this is Robert F. Kennedy, nephew of John F. Kennedy, son of Robert F. Kennedy Sr. Clearly, he just told you who the biggest threat to democracy is. He's the first president in the history of this country to wage lawfare against a political opponent, to use the judicial system as a weapon against his political opponent. And the people that he picked to do it is shocking. Letitia James, Fannie Willis. You know what I mean? But we're not even finna deal with them today. Because they're not really promoting the fact that John F. Kennedy Jr. said that. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that. And it's deep because He had to tell the truth. You know what I mean? He didn't want to sit there and lie, so he just went on and said it. Biden is the biggest threat to democracy. Because what Biden is doing is he's appealing to everybody's vices and perversions. He's running the campaign on vice and perversion. We're gonna let you do this. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop the age of consent so that they can really come at your children. And y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about how rude and how vile the Democratic Party is with their agendas. You know, it was Easter the other day, and I was with my grandchildren, 5 grandchildren, right? Oldest one being 10, youngest being 6 months. So you got all ranges of my grandchildren. And in my mind, the thought that my grandchildren can go to school and some politician has legislated that they can come home and tell me, my grandson can come home and tell me, Papa, I want to be a girl now. And if I ask him, like, why you say that? My teacher told me, gender is fluid. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with flooding my community with immigrants who entered this country illegally, most of them being let out of Venezuelan prisons and insane asylums and coming through Florida from Haiti. What does that look like in a few more years? In a few more years, will Easter even be Easter? By the time our grandkids is grown, what kind of world will they have following these people? You know what I mean? And I'm so glad that people are starting to see the wickedness behind the administration, because this is the first time in the history of this country that we ever seen demonic and Luciferian leadership, where the so-called president is in direct opposition to God and his own country. That's bad. That's really bad. And for the sake of being a liberal, these people ignore it. And they so adamant about this is racism, this is racism. You know what I mean? And people won't tell them what you are doing is Satanism, Satanism, Satanism. We know. But he said out his own mouth that Joe Biden is the greater threat to democracy. Why that's not publicized as news? That RFK said that. One of their own from the left on CNN. So it's not widely publicized. But the next clip I want to show you is how the liberals use race in their tactics to actually bully conservative people. Like conservative people, like y'all scared of them, They're gonna take y'all kids, they're gonna take everything from y'all and make y'all they perverted slaves or something. And you won't say nothing really to defend yourselves. But Biden knows, and this administration knows, that they're pushing their puppets and their pawns to a point to where they are going to be the front line in whatever chaos goes on in this country. And he's not going to protect him. He won't be able to. He's going to protect himself. He's going to protect his interests. They're going to protect property. Because just because people aren't responding angrily, publicly, it's going to be a problem. And I'm going to give you an example of how disrespectful the left can be. I want you to check out this clip of Whoopi Goldberg talking to Janine and how she just becomes unhinged and becomes so disrespectful because she thinks she can get away with it. Check it out. This for fair use in the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary and the First Amendment all the time. Check this out.
I am not, Judge.
Nobody
No,
is you because you
drunk
talk about
derangement
you
syndrome.
talk about.
I am not, Judge.
Nobody
no,
is.
oh, yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yes.
Listen, I don't have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have.
That's Judge Janine on The View, sparking a heated exchange that eventually spills backstage.
Let's talk a little about Russia. He met with Putin in Helsinki. A lot of folks, Democrats and Republicans, agree it was probably not the best idea because it kind of undermines our country. What do you think?
Not.
I'm going to stop right there. Why wouldn't the President of the United States meet with the President of Russia to discuss things when Russia is a superpower? Their logic is so flawed. And they expect the audience to be so dumb. You know, I'm starting to think that people that watch The View and follow them and adhere, they have to be kind of slow or dumb, or maybe they got skeletons in their closet or whatever. They got some type of weirdness about them, because she actually came out and said that the President of the United States meeting with the President of Russia somehow is a bad thing. So we should never meet with the President of Russia. We should just always assume that they are enemy and always be ready to fight them. We should never sit down and talk to them. Really? See, these witches of The View, they typical of a mammy type situation that's going on all around the country, where they just say anything, whether it makes sense or not. They just say it, and then if you push back on it, you're a racist or you're a misogynist. Listen to the rest.
Best idea, Whoopi? Come on. Every president in the last 75 years has met with the head of the Kremlin.
Then how did you feel when Obama met with, I don't know, name somebody who... Castro or met
Raul
with...
Castro?
Were you
I don't
comfortable
have a
with
problem with people talking. That's one of the things that we need now. We need people to talk. People who ostensibly hate each other. It's time we sat down and had
I'm so glad.
Judge Janine took to Fox to provide an explanation of what occurred.
I got the transcript, and one of the things I said was, one of the things we need now, we need people to talk to people who ostensibly hate each other. It's time we sat down and had a conversation. And Whoopi, interrupted and said, now? Oh, I'm so glad. But anyway, that was almost prescient. The second segment, after some small talk, I mean, we had, I was making small talk. I was, happy to discuss my book, right? And then we came back, and it was, no holds barred.
I also think it's important, as we said, 89% of the Republican Party still supports him. He still has huge popularity in the country. And if Democrats don't get their together, he's certainly going to get reelected.
Here's my question for you. Here's my question for you, because you talk about, you talk about...
I am not, Judge.
Nobody is...
Oh, yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't...
Whoopi Goldberg got that same Fannie Willis energy, that same Letitia James energy, that same Tiffany Henyard energy. For real, these Democrats actually have tricked these women into thinking they would share power with them or even protect them, when all they're using them as is the face of discontent. They're their guard dogs. You see how she's sitting there? She's the only black woman there. That's for the optics. That's that I'm strong black woman, hear me roar. I'm the backbone of the community. I'm the backbone of the Democratic Party. I'm going to run the country. Lady, you crazy as hell. If you ever think that these patriots in this country will allow that to happen, do you ever think that the world will sit down and negotiate with you? Putin, China, and the rest will be the laughing stock of this hemisphere. And you'll do something stupid, you know what I mean? That'll trigger the destruction of this country. Your president already let in 10 million people, mostly men of fighting age and from countries that have animosity toward America. He's already left a fifth column in. Oh, of course, you know the government tracking them, making sure where they are. So when they do what they do, they can clamp down on them. But what does that look like for us? We don't have any bunkers to go to. We don't have any armored tanks. The writing is on the wall was going down. But why I'm showing you this is look at this Fannie Willis, Letitia James energy as she sits there. Only black woman there. She reminds you of how they used to have them old movies. I told you the Democrats is like the plantation slaves. Remember, like you watch the old movie like Gone with the Wind, they always have, you know, the woman with the rag on her head and she close to master and she's telling everybody else what to do. Well, master ain't gonna like this and master ain't gonna like that. And she all up in the kitchen cooking and nursing and all of that. When all the whole time all she doing is selling out her people for a few extra crumbs. That's all it is. On this channel, I don't do race baiting. I don't even get off into misogyny. You know, every now and then we'll get an outsider to come to the comments, and that's what they want to be on, talking about what they believe in. You know what I mean? They're even getting the comments talking about aliens, and it is what it is. I wish my moderators would get on it so I don't have to block them. But the rhetoric is ridiculous at this point. But check out Whoopi.
Have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have. Okay. I have I'm tired of people starting a conversation with Mexicans or liars and rapists. I'm tired of people starting a conversation about this country. Listen, I'm 62 years old. There have been a lot of people in office that I didn't agree with, but I have never, ever seen anything like this. I've never seen anybody whip up such hate. I've never seen anybody be so dismissive.
Watch her attitude, and this is what makes the Democrats the biggest hypocrites and the biggest threat to democracy this country ever seen. She is so hostile that she can't even see it because she thinks she has righteous indignation. Watch how she go off.
And clearly you don't watch the show, so you don't know that I don't suffer from that. What I suffer from is the inability to figure out how to fix this. That's my issue. But one of the things that you talk about a lot, and I'm curious about it, is the deep state. How long has the deep state been there, and who's running it? Well, I want to answer your question because you
I didn't actually ask you a question.
You had your opening statement, which was how horrible it is that Donald Trump is talking about
that's
all
what you.
of these
I'm
people.
sorry.
You know what?
That's what you said. You said.
Whoopi, you know
you
what's
said
horrible?
that
When
it
people
was.
who
It's
shouldn't
okay.
be here end up murdering the children of American citizens.
You know what's horrible?
What's horrible
when the president
is
of the United States
sanctuary
whips up
cities.
people to beat the hell out of people.
No.
Say goodbye.
Whoopi got angry, and what the viewing audience, the television audience, didn't see is that they popped up the cover of my book as she.
What Whoopi didn't have no answer for, and what made her lose her whole argument, is when she said that illegal immigrants is coming to this country, unaliving citizens. After that, she was stuck, because how you gonna let immigrants who enter the country illegally prey on the citizens, while at the same time giving them more benefits than the citizens, and yet you put America first? Everybody knows the Biden administration is not America first. They're definitely not God first. So after that statement, Whoopi leaves, she storms off. But wait until you hear what she does next.
Pushed off the desk, unplugged her mic, and then stormed off the set. So I'm there saying, I'm in television. I said, I don't think the segment's over, but I think she just left, Janine. I think it's over. So I take off my own mic, and then you have to go down the stairs. Mm-hmm. I go down the stairs, and she's right there. And I said something like, Whoopi, I spent my whole life fighting for victims, because we had talked about rapes and all that. And she said to me, as she got up in my face, and I read somewhere someone said, well, you should have kept walking. I couldn't walk by her. She was at the bottom of the stairs. She said,
now, flat out, read between the lines. Whoopi was acting like she was finna whoop that lady. She was acting like she waited there, confronted her, blocked her from leaving, and got in her face and tried to intimidate her, because she feels that emboldened. This is what I was talking about in the beginning of this, how conservatives, because y'all don't want to be called racist or whatever, y'all letting the Democrats play y'all like cowards. Y'all letting them bully you because you don't want those labels, but you want them to have power again, so they can change your children's identity and flood your communities. Man, at this point, stop playing with them. Stop letting them get away with that. Stop pacifying their anger and meet it with your own. What's wrong with that? It's all fair, right?
F you. And then I said, did you just say F you? And then she said, get the F out of this building, get the F out of this building. So I'm there, and I'm like, okay.
And you didn't do anything to provoke anybody there?
No, you can ask the people that I was with. I mean, she was nuts going off the set, and then when I walked down, and so as I started walking out the building, so this woman is yelling behind me, get the F out of this building. I mean, look, I've been a prosecutor, judge, DA for 30 years. I try murder cases. I can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But that was abuse, and it was sad. It was a sad moment that, she was triggered, and I never understood triggering. She started cursing at me.
She stopped and put a finger in my face and yelled, I've done more for victims than you ever will. Then I said to her some few choice words I cannot repeat.
She said, you. And I said, Whoopi, did you just say you? I mean, she was right here. And then she said, get the out of this building.
This heated exchange just exposes how the witches at The View treat individuals with differing opinions. Judge Janine not only stood her ground against Whoopi, but also had to silence Sunny Hostin multiple times. I'll be uploading the full clip for you to witness in the near future. I thought it was very entertaining to see Judge Janine shutting down these hypocritical hacks, making them recoil like the snakes that they are. Do you agree that Whoopi suffers from Trump derangement syndrome? I mean, think about it. She won't even say his name. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, so be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Your support.
I agree with her that the women of the View are some witches and they some snakes. You know what I mean? Janine know when she go there, she better take somebody with her. She can't go up in there by herself. Don't be no fool and go up in there around a bunch of demonic Democrats by yourself and be outnumbered. You see how they playing it? You know, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts in the comments about, like I told you, the closer we get to election, the more desperate and the more hostile the Democrats want to be, because they want to provoke something. They might even want to provoke, allegedly, I don't know. They might want to even provoke a situation that creates martial law so that they don't even be an election. There's so many tricks that they do because they know they can't win. The only people that are voting for Democrats at this particular time are people who have very corrupt morals. This is a moral issue. They are 100% wicked in their administration. So this is really a fight against good and evil. But you see their temperament. And remember when I showed you in the first clip, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that he had to admit it, Joe Biden is the biggest threat to democracy in this country. He's the biggest threat. There's never been this much attempts at censorship, this much erosion of due process. Their administration is violating the 8th Amendment on cruel and unusual punishment. You really want to give them another 4 years to perfect their dominance over you, your children, and your communities? That's sick. You know what I mean? I don't even respect you if you were a Democrat at this point. When somebody is telling you what they want to do with your kids and you won't stand up against that. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe people are really just at this point showing you who they are, showing you their values. And then they said, like Maya Angelou says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Again, I want to tell y'all, get this book on the Constitution, got the Declaration of Independence. It's a powerful book because it tells you the thinking, the mindset that went into establishing this country. And it's sickening to see people this weak allowing an administration to subvert and pervert their religion, their faith, and their beliefs in their children. Is sad. Sanity out of Detroit. Y'all keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, salute to all the patriots. Peace.